Coming up on the November 8th edition of Carolina Week.
Republicans now hold the reins of the federal government. Will they be successful in reaching across party lines to heal a divided nation?
The controversy and discussion about renaming Airport Road has come to an end.
And they say all good things come to an end, but not the women's soccer team's winning streak.
Plus your full sports report and the Carolina Week 4-day forecast.
All that and more.
Carolina Week starts now.
From the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, this is Carolina Week.
Good evening and welcome to the Monday edition of Carolina Week. I'm Joe Mott.
And I'm Courtney Robinson. Presidential politics is still foremost in the minds of many folks, including some UNC Chapel Hill students. It's been nearly a week since George W. Bush secured his second term as president. Democrats are still in shock and Republicans are still excited. Carolina Week reporter R.J. Weber tells us what this election could mean as the two camps are still at odds.
America has spoken, and I'm humbled by the trust and the confidence of my fellow citizens.
With those words, President Bush became the first Republican president to take office with Republican House and Senate majorities since Calvin Coolidge did in 1924. UNC College Republicans Chairman Jordan Selleck says this is huge for the Republican Party, but he's still hesitant to say Republicans are dominating national politics.
Dominating would mean, that crucial 60 votes in the Senate. We're not there yet. I think it is very important right now that the Republicans, have a fair amount of control.
Republicans say the people gave them that control. Bush picked up 51% of the popular vote, the first president to do so since his father did in 1988.
Republicans gained 4 seats in the Senate, upping the seat count to 55 and decreasing Democratic spots to only 44. Republicans also acquired 4 more seats in the House, now outnumbering the Democrats 231 to 200. Furthermore, there are 7 more Republican governors than Democratic ones in the U.S. But UNC Young Democrat President Justin Guillory says Republicans shouldn't think they have a mandate.
We're still in a divided country, and I think it would be a mistake for them to just sort of pushing forward their right-wing agenda.
Selleck disagrees and says the time is right for Republicans to make a change.
Within 100 days, we're going to see a huge push for a domestic agenda in the House and the Senate, and a strong push from up top from the president.
In his acceptance speech, Bush said part of his push will be for both parties to unite and come together as Americans. Guillory agrees this should happen, but says he's doubtful that Bush will actually act. Selleck says Bush will act, but that Democrats must concede on some social issues before America will see more unity. In Chapel Hill, I'm R.J. Weber, Carolina Week.
The Young Democrats aren't the only ones frustrated about the outcome of the election.
As Carolina Week reporter Amanda Seeley found out, international students might not be able to vote, but their voices reflect opinions heard around the world.
The dust from the presidential election is finally beginning to settle in Chapel Hill. President Bush won the popular vote and has strong backing at UNC, but his popularity might not hold up on a global scale. The Iraq War is still center stage, and one of the major issues of the election was how Bush is viewed internationally. Reaction to Bush's re-election by world leaders have been fairly optimistic overall. Even French President Jacques Chirac, who butted heads with Bush about the war, said, "We will be unable to find satisfying responses to the numerous challenges that confront us today without a close transatlantic partnership." However, here at UNC, many exchange students aren't quite ready to congratulate Bush on his victory.
By re-electing Bush, now the rest of the world sees that as sort of justifying what he's done in the past 4 years.
And I think the French don't want to make efforts to be nice with Bush, because they know with the war in Iraq, Chirac can't work with Bush, I think.
Junior Catherine Florio says students who travel abroad can help strengthen our reputation in the world.
First of all, from an American point of view, I think it's really important that we have our students travel abroad and try and broaden their global perspectives and try and learn things about other cultures. From a public diplomacy standpoint, I think it does America a lot of good to have our students interact with students from abroad and to develop those relationships. I mean, that's really like grassroots diplomacy.
And those relationships are perhaps even more important than who's in the White House. In Chapel Hill, I'm Amanda Seeley, Carolina Week.
Many Carolina students who've traveled abroad have said students in other countries form their opinions of us based on what they see in international news networks.
You might want to get your passport ready for this next story because this festival knows no boundaries. It wasn't just the Japanese taiko drummers who are excited this weekend. Residents and families from across the state, better make that from around the world, came to the 19th Annual International Festival at the State Fairgrounds for some fun. Performers from more than 30 cultures took the stage at the J.S. Dorton Arena to show pride in their heritage and just look adorable. Shoppers also had the chance to get goods from a global market and recharge at the smorgasbord of foreign foods.
Even more people have been diagnosed with E. coli infection since last month's state fair. 31 cases have been diagnosed, 103 more cases are under investigation, and the Department of Health and Human Services has attributed the cause of the infections to the state fair's petting zoo. E. coli bacterium passes to humans through contaminated meat, manure, or contact with animals such as cattle, sheep, pigs, and chickens. The Centers for Disease Control reports that an average of 61 people die from E. coli infections each year. UNC Chapel Hill is at the top of yet another national ranking. Forbes.com partnered with the Princeton Review and looked at data from 357 top colleges and universities. Carolina was ranked the nation's #1 university for fostering entrepreneurship across campus. The Keenan Flogger Business School's involvement with award-winning entrepreneurs and the introduction of a new minor in entrepreneurship next fall were just a few of the elements that helped Carolina come out on top. Carolina was also listed 5th among universities on the cutting edge of technology.
UNC Chapel Hill employees are back to work, and the university hopes its workers are feeling a little more valued. Friday marked this year's Employee Appreciation Day. University workers were given a little extra time off to enjoy a relaxing lunch and some bluegrass tunes. The university gave away prizes, offered discounts at student stores and Lenore Dining Hall, and gave educational seminars about leadership and financial education. University carpenter Danny Wagner says the day gave workers a break from their normal routine.
It gives us a chance to feel like we're being recognized for the hard work that we do for the university.
Wagner says although he does feel appreciated, he thinks the university could do more for staff members. Improving their skills and improving their lives.
We'll show you how one special group is living and learning in Pittsboro.
AIDS has killed more children worldwide than there are in all the grade schools in New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, Washington, Atlanta, and Miami combined. The time to do something is now.
During the fall, one of the most peaceful places on campus is the Forest Theater. Many great plays are held in this place of serenity. But my favorite times are when nothing at all is going on, and the colorful canopy of leaves overhead shelters you from the cares of the world. No one knows the real Carolina like a student.
Another Franklin Street business owner is packing up and moving out. Katie's Soft Pretzels won't be serving up its famous pretzels or smoothies to customers on Franklin Street anymore. The store closed last week after 3 years in business. Owner Chris Stott says the store required a lot of foot traffic and just wasn't getting it. Carolina sophomore Seda Obeid says she's gotten used to the quick turnover of businesses on Franklin Street.
They're all really close together. There's like a really, really huge competition, and they're all on one strip. So it doesn't surprise me that, if they're a little bit behind, they fall behind really quickly.
If you still have a craving for those soft pretzels, Katie's has another location at the streets of South Point Mall in Durham.
Airport Road is getting a new name, but the old name will still be around too. The special committee to consider renaming Airport Road voted to recommend renaming the road Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard by a 15-3 count. The committee tackled the racial issues that arose from the controversy surrounding the renaming and appeased some dissenters by deciding to post signs that will read Historic Airport Road along the roadway. The committee will make its official recommendation to the Chapel Hill Town Council in December.
Dustin Hoffman made autism famous in the 1988 movie Rain Man. Autism knows no racial, ethnic, or geographical boundaries. Reporter Lydia Garlikov introduces us to some people with autism who are breaking boundaries of their own.
Tommy spent Thursday morning outside in the yard, raking up the dry grass from a recent mowing.
All I like to do outside, rake, mow.
And to work by himself. He's autistic, and he lives here at the Carolina Living and Learning Center. He knows that as soon as he rakes the grass in between the orange cones, he gets a break. Like his friend Tommy, JR has a structured vocational program combining his accomplished weeding skills with his need to learn how to complete tasks. Director of the center, Nancy Reichley, knows how much it means to residents when they reach their program goals.
As they gain skills and as they gain independence in doing things, and they also gain self-esteem, and we see them becoming very satisfied with the new things that they can do and the things that they learn to be able to communicate.
Autism is a neurological disorder affecting the brain's development in the areas of social interaction and the ability to communicate. 1.5 million Americans suffer from autism, and 15 from North Carolina live here on this farm. Their families don't have to pay any out-of-pocket expense. Medicaid and state funds cover it all. But as workers here will tell you, the most important things money can't buy. Mike Peterson started working with Tommy and JR after his graduation from Carolina in May. He says no degree could help him work with the autistic. It just takes time.
It wouldn't prepare you nearly as well as getting to know each of these guys and knowing how they work and what they prefer, because everyone with autism is very different.
Nancy agrees.
They're each unique, you know, in their own special ways. I mean, they all have ways that they communicate and ways that they show emotions, and you know, they're just fun and a joy to be around.
That joy is readily apparent at the center. In Pittsburgh, I'm Lydia Garlikov, Carolina Week.
The center offers tours weekly. For more information about the center and its mission, click to our website at carolinaweek.org.
Orange County has obtained a piece of land that will be turned into a park. Here's a look at it. It's part of a 69-acre tract north of Chapel Hill on Millhouse Road. It'll mainly be used for playing fields and trails. The town's operations center will be next door. Well, weathercaster Erin Moore joins us now.
Erin, the past few days have been absolutely beautiful. I know I've been outside enjoying the wonderful weather, and Joe, you got to get out and do some mountain biking.
I spent most of Sunday doing some mountain biking, but tell us what do we expect
It's a perfect day to do it. We saw temperatures in the mid-70s on Sunday. On Monday, our temperatures were in the mid-60s. Tomorrow and for the rest of the week, we're going to be seeing some colder temperatures. So more on that when Carolina Week returns.
What is that thing?
Looks like somebody's double chin. Must have lost it snacking on fruits and vegetables.
Somebody's gonna trip on that.
Almost half of all parents who suspect their child has a problem learning wait a year or more before getting them help. Why? When there's so much they could be achieving. Kids with learning disabilities are smart. They just learn differently. Call or visit us on the web now.
Hi, welcome back to Carolina Week. I'm weathercaster Erin Moore here with a check of your weather headlines. We had a quiet cold front come through the triangle on Monday morning, and what's behind it is a large area of high pressure that's going to be dominating our weather until Thursday. What that high pressure means for us is that we're going to have clear skies for the most part Tuesday, Wednesday, and most of the day on Thursday. And what that means for the nighttime temperatures is that we are going to be seeing some very cold lows. And on Tuesday night, we're apt to see the coldest night of the season thus far that we've had so far. As we look at the satellite map, we see these clouds over here off of the Atlantic. That's associated with the cold front that came through on Monday. But what we're seeing now is this big high pressure system that's dominating our area. And back over here, we do have some disturbed weather over Southern California and Nevada. That's a low pressure system that's going to be coming through. It's going to be connecting up with a system in Canada and coming through to affect our weather Thursday night and into Friday. If we look at the surface map, again, here's this cold front that came through today on Monday and our high pressure system. What the high pressure system does is the air rotates clockwise around it, and we're seeing northerly winds that's bringing us cold air from Canada. And again, on Tuesday night, the low is going to be right around the 30-degree mark. So back over here, this is a little ridge of low pressure that's going to connect up with this cold front up here in Canada and come through Thursday night into Friday. As we go to the 4-day forecast, you see on Sunday, as I said, we had temperatures in the mid-70s. Tuesday, we're going to be 20 degrees cooler than we were just 2 days before. We're going to see highs Tuesday and Wednesday of 55 degrees. Tuesday night, look at that low, 30 degrees. Many of us are going to be seeing that. And as you head north to the North Carolina-Virginia border, we could see temperatures in the upper 20s. On Wednesday, our overnight low is going to be about 36 degrees. On Thursday, we're going to see a little bit higher temperature, 62 and with a low of 40. The clouds are going to increase as that second cold front comes through. And on Friday, we'll see a high of 55 with a low of 40 degrees. As we look at the November almanac, we're into our second week of November. Our average high for the month is 62 degrees, and our average low is 39 degrees. And we normally see about 2.97 inches of precipitation. But look at this, our earliest measurable snowfall was 0.6 of an inch on November 6th, 1953. So we're looking at November 8th, so who knows, we might see some snowfall
Looks
in
like
November.
coming up might be some white on the ground. Well, thank you very much,
You
Erin.
never know.
Hopefully not, because I have not turned the heat on in our house. So I'm hoping for warmer weather. Yeah.
Well, Luke Nostine joins us now with sports.
Luke, I saw my first win with Miami last weekend, and again this past Saturday saw another loss for Carolina.
Yeah, and also some surprising things happened this weekend in sports. We'll get to that in a minute. But first, we're going to test your basketball knowledge. Which opponent starts off the regular season against Carolina's men's basketball team? Is it Mount Olive, Santa Clara, USC, or Duke? We'll have that for you later on. But first, let's see how the football team handled its last home game. Well, last week, Carolina brought out the ACC welcome wagon for Miami. But Saturday, 18th-ranked Virginia Tech blazed its own path through Kenan Stadium as Carolina tried everything it could to stop the Turkey Birds from Blacksburg. Well, Darian Durant and the Heels come out pumped up early in the game, moving the ball fast downfield. When you think of fast, you got Chad Scott. Giggity, giggity, giggity. 30, 20, 10, touchdown Carolina. Scott's 48-yard run was UNC's longest touchdown run of the season. The Heels up 7-0. Tech wasted no time tying up the score on the Hokies' next drive. Carolina's defense started to wake up in the second quarter, forcing a missed field goal attempt. Then both teams go back and forth with a touchdown on each side, the clock winding down in the second. But a field goal by Virginia Tech, and then a UNC Hail Mary to Jesse Holley falls right to the ground. Half ends UNC down 17-14. It's only 3 points. But then Mike Tickle Me Emo makes the Heels down 10. This 15-yard touchdown run here adds to his ridiculous 236 rushing yards in the game. Oh wait, I think the defense has come back, forcing a fourth down with 10 minutes and 30 seconds left. And the Heels come out of nowhere, blocking this punt, scoring touchdown number 3. Time ticking away, now it's up to Durant and the offense to keep the game alive. Didn't see this one coming. Durant sacked from behind. And then Connor Barth, last week's savior, tries to win the game again this time, but the kick falls just short. Virginia Tech wins 27-24. Coach John Bunting says the hardest thing for him was losing on senior day.
You know, it's the last day for the seniors. That's what was toughest for me. That was the last home game, and they were that close to pulling off something really special. I mean, that's a good football team. We just lost him. they're very, very physical. They're very, very established. They're very mature and experienced, and we had a chance to win it.
If you're looking for a comeback this week, it might be a little hard for the Heels, who travel to Winston-Salem to play the Demon Deacons. All 4 of Carolina's big wins this season have been at home. Well, 16 straight years of dominating the ACC Women's Soccer Championships. That's no guarantee the Lady Tar Heels can grab the title this year. Sunday's final against UVA was a hard-fought battle with both teams struggling every step. Heels received blow after blow, and all the fouls led to a penalty kick. Casey White nails this one to tie the game at 1. That's how regulation would end. Overtime freshman Jamie Gilbert had some close calls, but came up just wide every time. After 2 overtimes, the game was officially declared a tie. The winner of the title and trophy still had to be decided. Game goes into sudden death penalty kicks. Virginia's Kelly Hammond, top shelf with this shot. Allie Wingett, no chance. Then Mary McDowell, UNC, is blocked by Christina DeVries. Comes up with a huge save, leading the Cavs to a 5-4 victory. Carolina suffers its first ACC tournament loss since 1988. Well, while the women fought for the conference title on Sunday, Atlantic Coast Conference seeding for the men's tourney was on the line at Riggs Field in Clemson. The Heels easily tamed the Tigers 4-1, with sophomore Corey Ash scoring 2 second-half goals, helping Carolina rack up its largest offensive output of the season. With the win, UNC is in a 3-way tie for 3rd place in the conference with Duke and UVA, perhaps giving the Heels a better position in the tournament brackets. Well, it's certainly not the basketball team, and surprisingly, it's not the women's soccer team either. So which is the best team that you're not watching? Well, here's a hint. They speak softly and carry big sticks. That story when Carolina Week Sports returns.
Take a pop quiz with me. In what film did I feel a need for speed? What was my call sign? Who did I sit behind in the F-14? Oh, and one more question. Who does your kid sit behind in homeroom?
Know what really matters. Know about your kid's school and know about your kid. Find out 100 ways to know more, do more.
Hear the one about the mom and the mechanic? They made a big splash running a car wash. See, the local PTA, an auto body shop, and their community coalition organized car washes, raising money to expand after-school programs. They knew keeping kids busy keeps them away from drugs. So now the town's got clean cars and clean kids. What can your group do? Contact your community coalition at helpyourcommunity.org, because you get more
when you get together.
Talk about a tough weekend. For the Carolina field hockey team, tough might have been an understatement. 2 days after beating the #1 team in the nation, the Heels faced #4 Maryland with the ACC championship on the line. Maryland came out early as the aggressor, and Carolina found itself trailing 1-0 at half for the 2nd straight game. And for the 2nd straight game, Carolina was a new team in the 2nd half. The Heels played aggressively, putting their bodies on the line to tie up the score. And look at this. Man, I haven't seen a dish that pretty on the Food Network. Kelsey Curran orders it to go and delivers Carolina's go-ahead goal with the deflection. UNC then played keep away until getting a penalty corner with less than 6 minutes to go in the game. Rachel Dawson passes to Laura Douglas there. Douglas ices it with his power shot as the Heels win their first ACC title since 1997. Montreal Alouettes, Pabao Little League, and even Durham's Eagles. What do these teams have in common with Carolina's field hockey team? Well, they're all champions that no one knows anything about. Reporter Wes Wilson has the story from Winston-Salem.
Congratulations to the University of North Carolina on winning the ACC Field Hockey Championship.
Identity, the characteristics by which a group or individual is recognized, how someone's defined. I suppose the best way to define the Carolina field hockey team is through a lack of definition.
The who?
Exactly. Kelsey Curran, Rachel Dawson, Katie Tron, these are just 3 of the best players you've never heard of. It's no secret which sport gets top billing in the dorms and living rooms around Chapel Hill, and many people can easily rattle off a throng of names from the football team as well.
Madison Hedgecock, Jaworski Polak, Darius Bowman.
In Carolina women's soccer, well, considering the Gatorade commercials and Sports Illustrated covers, these girls are off the not watched list. This season has been a whirlwind for the field hockey team. It rattled off 14 wins in a row, including a couple of thrillers, and its only loss came against the #2 team in the country on the road. So what is it that makes this team so special? Is it hustle, intensity, desire?
I think the things that you describe are marks of champions, that you can keep going and keep fighting and stay mentally tough and physically tough. Those are the marks of champions.
When Laura Douglas slapped Rachel Dawson's pass by the Maryland goaltender for an insurmountable 3-1 lead, the word champions also describes Shelton's heels. But still, that didn't seem to do this team justice. Maybe sometime between a Katie Tron save and a Kelsey Curran dive, this reporter realized it's not words that define players, it's players that define words. In Winston-Salem, I'm Wes Wilson, Carolina Week Sports.
The Lady Heels won't get much rest, however. The 2004 NCAA tournament brackets will be revealed Tuesday at 7 p.m. Well, some other unknowns showed off their skills as Carolina Swimming experienced expansion this weekend in a dual meet against new ACC foe, Virginia Tech. And just for kicks, the #7 Minnesota men and the Richmond women stopped by to mix things up. The 11th-ranked Carolina men swam hard and took out Tech by almost 200 points. But Minnesota swam harder and beat the men 239 to 127. 15th-ranked Carolina women swept all 5 relays and beat #24 Virginia Tech by more than 100 points and beat Richmond 235 to 124. Senior captain Virginia Hansen says the competition was important despite the easy sweep.
Get up and race different people, and Virginia Tech's got some good fast people, and so we're just having a good time racing against each other too, and just glad to be racing again.
Carolina faces Duke at home on Tuesday as the Carlisle Cup heats up. Well, the men's basketball team hit the court for the first time this season in an exhibition game against Winston-Salem State. And yeah, they're playing a little bit of patty cake, baker's man. Raymond Felton to Jawad Williams for the alley-oop slam. Williams also visited downtown in this game, sinking this 3 as part of his 21 on the night. Melvin Scott and Rashad McCants, well, yeah, they can do it too. Ramses, the UNC mascot, chuckles and says, Carolina's pretty good. Tying Jawad for the game's individual scoring lead, McCants shows off his trampoline shoes. And how about freshman Marvin Williams? Watch this. McCants to Marvin, special player. Then some tic-tac-toe passing. Doop, doop, doop. Carolina goes on to win the squeaker 113 to 54. Head coach Roy Williams says this year the Heels are developing into a team that gets everyone involved.
I think that's probably the thing that we did best tonight is we do communicate better and we do talk much better right now than we did at any point last year. And so that's a big step.
Well, the Heels have another exhibition game at home Friday against Mount Olive. So a little bit of basketball, but do you guys have an answer for the trivia question? Who do they play first game?
I was looking at it. I know it's Santa Clara.
That is actually correct. And that's very good, Joe.
Cheater.
They tip off against the Heels November 19th, and the first home game of the season is on the 28th against USC.
I'm very excited to see all of that.
What can middle schoolers make with plywood?
Well, I'll tell you what they built when how they turned out this hallway into a race course when we return.
My tires burns less fuel and saves me money on gas. Yeah, I'm saving Mother Nature from pollution, but more importantly, she saved me $11. Ow!
Environmental defense. Get green.
By keeping my car regularly tuned, I save money on gas and repairs. That also means cleaner air. You know, feels good to help save the cash, planet.
Environmental defense. Get green. For more tips, go to getgreen.com.
Well, we've all been there. You have only 10 minutes to get to your next class, but you just feel too tired to run.
Well, some 7th and 8th graders at McDougal Middle School have an idea. A hovercraft. Students in an elective class called AIMS, or Activities in Math and Science, built and raced hovercraft in the school halls Friday. Their assignment was to make a vehicle that could lift 100 pounds or more off the ground and move it through an obstacle course. The teams designed the craft, brought the plywood, and modified leaf blowers to help them hover down the hall. Although some had to make on-the-spot repairs, their spirits never deflated.
Well, that never happened to me when I was in middle school. Nothing cool like that.
We definitely didn't have technology like that when I was in middle school.
No, not at all. Thanks for joining us for this edition of Carolina Week.
Y'all have a wonderful night.
Good night.